Hi everybody. I'm doing this little video because I've looked all over online and wasn't able to find any real videos for a trim brake 2. I've seen a lot of the other videos, and they were kind of helpful, but quite honestly, being on a budget, I was looking for a video on this trim brake 2. So I just got one here. It just showed up today. It did come in on a semi truck. I'm not on a very busy road, but I'm off side road, so they were able to get it to me. So I got my horses set up here. I've learned just now that I can't really swap this over from selfie mode to the other camera mode, so this might get a little choppy. So there it is. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna get it on the sawhorses, and we'll check it out. And I got some scrap pieces of tin, and we're gonna see what happens. Okay, so really all I did was just break off the plastic, but I really wanted to show you is how it did come from Vanmark. I guess you could probably see my address on there. I'm in Hancock, Maine. I did get the 10-footer. They had the 8-footer for sale. I chose to go with the 10. Honestly, I was just trying to get not so much the, well, what am I trying to say here? The less seams. That's it. Sorry for the brain cramp there. Again, let's see what happens. Okay, so really, as much as I've done is I really kind of just pulled off the plastic and I cut the bands. I do want to point out though, the box is pretty stove up. It was banded really well. I will say that. It did come from all the way from Michigan. I was impressed at how fast it got here, really, considering when I ordered it online, it told me it was going to take 2 to 3 weeks, and it really just kind of took a week. Although it did take 3 days before the item was actually shipped. So I was kind of really wondering how that was going to go. But they called. They made arrangements to let me know that when they were in the area, they were going to be here. I didn't get the call that they were going to be here. However, when they did show up, the wife called me and said, "Hey, what did you order?" So evidently it came in semi-truck trailer, and gentleman, whoever was driving, was able to set it off in the driveway. So I was actually okay with that. So when I got here, it was already here. But as you can see over here, I mean, the bands that were on it really kind of stove into it. So I'm still kind of interested in see what this thing looks like inside. One of the reasons why I did buy this is that it is kind of old school, but all the reviews I saw, everybody was raving about it. Now, I don't know about raving about it like, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread. They were raving about it that this is something that's going to last. And really, that's kind of what I was looking for. So I'm going to hang up just for a moment, and we'll get back to it. Okay, so here we are. I opened it. So clearly, right off the get-go, when I first opened it, I could see a wet spot here. So they do keep it oiled or greased. The other thing I kind of noticed is that on the wedges here, you can see where it's been greased. But what I'm seeing is that there's marks on the grease. So somebody's actually tested this before actually shipping it. So I'm pretty happy about that. I don't know about what this broken part is though. I guess alrighty. Well, the investigation moves on. It's from something, I'm not so sure where. But other than that, everything else seems to be okay. I mean, I've used other brakes before. I am liking the whole great big long piano hinge. I know there's another name for it, but everything seems still okay. It doesn't look stove up. I do see that the handles are kind of loose. Oh, so they've taped the handles to the brake itself. I imagine that's just to keep it from moving around in the box. I am a little concerned where that broken part come from. I don't see anything right off the get-go. Now, this brake did come with stops, so you can set it. I'm kind of liking that. I don't know if it's something I use very often, but there it is. It is a Vanmark product, but it is a trimmer brake. The springs that I saw on here, I couldn't really see all that well online, so they look like they're on here. They're pretty solid. I'm gonna take a second. I'm gonna kind of get this thing up on sawhorses, and I'm gonna piece it together. Okay, so I got it together. It didn't really take all that long. It really just took, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes to piece it all back together. There's the handle here that it's got a cotter pin. It comes around. I did have to cam everything together by hand first before I could actually get the arm. Well, I guess there's two arms here. There's the cam arm and there's the handle itself. And I got a plane flying overhead. So that was kind of tricky. I was able to do it, and I went ahead and I put the cotter pin in here, and I threw the clevis pin, got that all together. I did find where the broken part came from. That was over here, and if I was to look back at one of these, that's what a non-broken one looks like. So I'm not too terribly worried about that. The springs on the I don't know what you want to call them, this part of the brake is actually cast, and the spring itself, or the steel rod that creates its spring when you release everything, these were out of their channel, so I ended up popping those back into the channel. There are only 3 of them. It's just the way that it's made. The other thing I kind of happened to notice is that on the end here, it looked like it got kind of hit, bumped, I don't know, dropped. It is within like the last maybe, I don't know, within the last inch or so. I'm not terribly concerned. I mean, I'm a little bummed. I mean, pay a lot of money for something you don't really want to have something broke. But I don't think it's going to affect what I want to do with it. The handle is, I mean, like anything, there's some assembly required. So the handle, I did kind of adjust, or I'm not adjust, but I did install. There's 2 screws on the top side, and it kind of locks on. I'm not sure what I might do. I think I might come up with something a little different for when transporting it. It is a nice handle. I do feel an even pressure all the way through right now. So again, when I cammed everything together, it locks. It locks good and tight. The handle here looks like it's made pretty good. Pretty well. It's welded together. I mean, I guess it is what it is, but it's you can see how it rides. They do keep this grease, so I will probably make sure that I keep my wedges greased with what looks like white lithium grease. I don't really see anything along this bed here. It doesn't look like there could be. I don't see any sign of it on either end. It could be just the way that it travels. I didn't see anything on this end as well. It feels like a light film of oil that might be on here, so I'm not quite sure what might happen when it starts getting dusty. It's on a job site. It's going to be on a job site where there's going to be skill saws and table saws and what have yous. So I'm a little interested in see what might happen there. But I imagine if I got any kind of dirt, either sand or sawdust or something here, I could easily, it doesn't look like it'd be all that hard to kind of break down. So if I did have to break it off, I'm sorry, not break it off, but disassemble it enough to clean that, it looks like it'd be easy enough. Neighbors. The Oh, I know what I wanted to point out. Something you can't tell looking at pictures online and being, I've used other brakes, just not this style. Most brakes I've used, they're like the Pro 19 Tapcon. This one here is a Vanmark. The other brands are, I mean, it's a side brake, so most side brakes are kind of built either like this or like the other style. And I'm sure that they have their little features where you can run a cutter on it. Of course, now there is no way to put a cut and roller. This is limited as to what I can do with it. I'm still happy with it. I got it because this is what I wanted. But again, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I haven't seen anything online that shows anybody what these things really can do. You know, something that's a little, I don't know, more definitive, I guess. But something I want to say is that right in here, I don't know if I can do this or not. Right in here, I was kind of concerned that the handle was actually going to be in the way and I wasn't going to be able to feed it from the end. A lot of the pictures that I see in a lot of the, if you get the other, it's not so much stand for your trim coil, it's set up in the back. This one here, it looks like I could easily take the same setup and just put it on the end and then cut it off the roller. I can, and still feed it on the end. So I was actually pretty kind of psyched about seeing this like this. So when I don't know if I can do it. I can't do it that way. So clearly it cams really well. But as you can see, you know, it still has, I mean, it's a lot of space there. It was about a quarter of an inch or so. So let me get a couple pieces of tin in here and see what happens. One of the things I want to try is making a hem. Everybody, a lot of times I see that this particular brake is limited as what it can do. Hemming's one of them. It's not something I really kind of do all that very often, so I'm interested to see if I can actually do it on this one. So, stay tuned. Be right back. Well, I did it. I'm not about to go through all the process of how to hem. If you're watching this, you already know how to use a brake, and you already know the process of really making a hem. So what I really did want to show is how tight the hem is. Actually, I don't know if I can kind of get that. I'm in kind of selfie mode, so it'd be kind of, so I did it twice. It is tricky. I will say one thing I did notice, having the D handle like it is, what I was able to do, because you have to hold the piece in, I was actually able to lift the handle, and I was able to use my knee, and while holding the piece in with both hands, and now I get it. This is really just a short little piece, but if I had the whole length of it, I'd be able to kind of use my hands, and I was able to use my knee to lift the handle. So that was kind of a neat little feature, you know, or I don't know, something I just kind of figured out on my own just now. So those of you who have not ever used one of these before, and looking into getting one, I recommend it. It just showed up. They're not giving them away. But it sits up high enough off the sawhorses that, you know, the brake itself works well. It's at a good working height. I didn't bother using the stops. I mean, the stops do, and you know, it will slide. I'm not really quite sure what more to kind of add, other than, you know, I guess I'm looking forward to get to a job site and really put it through its paces, and I'm sure it'll work out just fine. I guess I kind of hope you enjoyed this little, I don't know, tutorial, for lack of a better term. But this is my little insight, not knowing what I was kind of getting myself into. I'm pretty happy with it. I am a little bummed, but about the the broken piece and the little end, but it's over 120 pounds. It's pretty stout. It's not like one of the other ones. I can lift it myself. I don't know if I can lift it with two hands, but there is a balance point. You can't pick it up in the middle. I know I can certainly get it in and out of the truck, finest kind. So I guess that's it. If you happen to get one, hope you find it decent enough is what I'm finding it. Have a good afternoon. Bye now.